Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a project? I mean, a brilliant project, only to watch it fail for some, well, stupid reason? We've all been there. Today, we're going to talk about the one skill that can stop that from ever happening again: stakeholder analysis. Let's jump right in. This is basically the whole story, right? We get so obsessed with the technical specs, the timelines, the Gantt charts, but the biggest risk to any project? It's never a bug in the code or a hiccup in the supply chain. Nope. It's always the people.
I'm sure you're nodding along right now. Your project is just cruising, everything is green, and then, bam, you hit a brick wall. Some department you barely thought about raises a huge objection, or an executive you forgot to keep in the loop just pulls the plug. It's so frustrating. But you know what? It's almost always preventable.
And that's what we're talking about today, the hidden project killer. It's this invisible threat that's lurking just beneath the surface of all our beautiful project plans, and it can sink even the best-laid initiatives before you even know what hit you.
So here's the absolute core of the issue. We get tunnel vision. We're so focused on the what and the when, but we completely forget about the who. You could have a technically perfect project, I mean flawless, but it can still fail spectacularly because of resistance from a team, a lack of resources from a manager, or just political pushback from a leader who feels like they've been left out.
So, how do we fight this thing? How do we take on this hidden killer? Well, we draw a map. Seriously, think of stakeholder analysis as creating a detailed map of your project's entire human landscape. It shows you the mountains you're going to have to climb, the rivers you need to cross, and most importantly, the allies who can show you the shortcuts.
And that's exactly why stakeholder analysis is so incredibly powerful. It's not just some vague feeling that, people are important. No, it's a real systematic process. It turns your gut feelings and hunches into actual actionable intelligence. It lets you get ahead of the surprises and navigate your organization's tricky political terrain with confidence.
All right, the first tool we're going to use to draw this map is an absolute classic, the power/interest grid. This is your 30,000-foot view. It helps you figure out where to focus your limited time and energy so you can get the biggest possible impact.
The grid works on two really simple axes. First up, you've got power. That's a stakeholder's ability to influence your project. And listen, this is not just about their job title. Power can come from their formal authority, sure, but it can also come from their control over the money, the unique expertise, or even just their powerful connections. And on the other axis, you've got interest. It's pretty simple. How much do they actually care about your project and its success?
Okay, let's dive into the most critical box: high power and high interest. These are your VIPs. Think project sponsors, key executives, the people whose strategic goals your project is supposed to be serving. The strategy here is crystal clear: manage them closely. You need to involve them in the big decisions, give them constant, honest updates, and actively work on building a really strong relationship. Their support is literally your project's lifeblood.
Next up, we've got the high-power, low-interest folks. Now, this is a tricky one. It's a deceptively dangerous quadrant. These are the senior leaders who aren't directly involved day-to-day, but man, could they derail you in a heartbeat if they got unhappy. Your goal here is to keep them satisfied. Give them short, high-level updates. Respect their time. The absolute key is to make sure they never, ever feel surprised by what you're doing.
Now, in the low-power, high-interest quadrant, we find a totally different kind of influence. These are often your end users, the people on the front lines. They can't approve your budget, but you better believe their buy-in is absolutely essential for your project to actually succeed in the real world. So your strategy here? Keep them informed. Give them regular updates and, this is crucial, create channels for them to give you feedback. Make them feel like they're part of it. And finally, the low-power, low-interest group. These are the stakeholders who need the least amount of your active attention. The strategy is simple. Just monitor them. You can throw them on a general email update list, but don't invest a ton of time here. The key, though, is to keep one eye on them. A promotion, a reorg, a shift in a project, any of those things could suddenly launch them into a whole new quadrant. Okay, so the power/interest grid just gave us our big picture strategic map. But now we need the turn-by-turn directions. We need an operational plan. And that's where our second tool comes in, the RACI Matrix. This is all about getting super clear on roles and responsibilities to kill any confusion before it starts.
RACI stands for 4 really distinct roles. First, R is for responsible. These are the doers, the people actually doing the work. A is for accountable. This is the single person who is the ultimate owner of the task. And here's the golden rule. There can only be one A, no exceptions. C is for consulted, the experts you talk to before you make a decision. And I is for informed, the people you update after the decision is made.
Let's make this real with a super simple example, making dinner. Okay, so maybe you are accountable for deciding the menu. You might consult your partner and inform the kids what's happening. You are responsible for the grocery shopping and the cooking. The kids, they're responsible for setting the table. See how that works? Defining these roles avoids that classic, "Wait, I thought you were going to do that" argument. It just brings instant clarity.
Okay, great. So we've got our strategic map and we've got our operational route plan. Now it's time to put them together and create a powerful, totally comprehensive stakeholder management playbook.
This is where the magic really happens. You don't just use one tool or the other, you use them together, in sequence. The power/interest grid tells you where you need to focus your precious energy, and then the RACI Matrix tells you how to engage those people in a really practical way. Let's just make this crystal clear, because it's so important. The power/interest grid answers the question, who are my most important people? It's all about strategic priority. The RACI Matrix answers the question, for this specific task, what is everyone's exact role? That's all about execution. See, one informs the other.
And here is the big aha moment. Remember that high-power, high-interest person from our grid? The one we decided we have to manage closely? Well, 9 times out of 10, in your RACI Matrix, that person is going to be the one who is accountable for the project's most important deliverables. The grid helps you identify their importance, and the matrix defines their specific role in getting things done. It all connects.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. On whatever project you're working on right now, who have you put in the wrong box? Who have you misjudged? And whose role have you left totally undefined? Because at the end of the day, that human landscape, it's the difference between success and failure. And now you have a map and a compass to navigate it.